In 1990, George H.W. Bush passed the American with Disabilities Act, giving civil rights to people with disabilities in all areas of public life, including jobs, schools, and transportation. Public and private places everywhere, like restaurants, hotels, retail merchants, doctors' offices, golf courses, health clubs, and movie theaters, are required to make reasonable modifications to their buildings. Ramps were built for people with physical disabilities, but you can't build a ramp for people with cognitive, social, and intellectual disabilities. So how can we make reasonable accommodations for them?
Arthur, touch your nose to his. Can you touch the beak to nose? See his beak? When we go out into restaurants or businesses or services, we've had some really good experiences. And we've also had some really challenging experiences where, we've left both of us in tears and back to the prison of the car, which can sometimes be very isolating and a little sad when you don't feel welcome.
Well, I have a son who's 21 years old now, named Asher. And Asher was first presented as having profound developmental delays, around 18 months of age. He is now engaged in the community in many different ways. And growing up, we had to look at things a little bit differently because of his limitations and of his differences. And I think my experience as a father of Asher has shaped me as an entrepreneur and has shaped Deltana as a business.
There's a restaurant in Seattle, in Columbia City, called Rookies. It's a bar and grill that is in the heart of the community here in Columbia City. The minute I just looked through the doorway, I knew it was going to be a welcoming place. There was just a culture of acceptance there. And I looked around the room and I saw just a lot of people looking at each other, smiling. It was a community place. So I felt like that at least there was some good ingredients there that they were going to seek to understand my son. And I learned very quickly that with the meal being delivered quickly, with his name being used every time we come in, to, hey, what can we do tonight to make this good for you guys? How's Arthur doing? Arthur loves to go back and forth to the restroom, and a lot of high fives on the way back. It's a community. It's a welcoming spirit. It's a feeling of inclusion and acceptance that you just want to come back, and it's our community place. It's our third place.
I want our organization to be one that does not judge somebody harshly, that looks at the world as a plentiful, generous place, that looks for ways to reach out to people. And I guess if I had to come up with a definition for inclusion, that would be it. It's got our particular bias of this generosity approach. And we're generous for people who are in our sphere. And anytime somebody becomes a customer of ours or becomes somebody who's in our world, we look for ways to be generous towards them.
Well, just think we have, today we have 12,000 flights a day. And within those flights, there are roughly 70,000 guests that are getting up in the morning. They've ticketed with Alaska Air Group. They're going out to the airport, they're getting on a plane, and they're having a travel experience. That's 70,000 people, so you picture that's like a small city. And within that city, there's a variety of people, different backgrounds, different needs for traveling.
Well, as Arthur's mom, I'm very proud. I think Arthur works harder than anyone I know to do the things that come easy to us. So I'm proud of him, I'm impressed with him. It's a privilege and an honor to be Arthur's mom. He works hard, he tries. He's a smart, creative, funny, beautiful person. We need to welcome inclusion. We need to have a welcoming culture in our society. An effort like Welcome Inclusion helps bridge that gap between where we are now and where we should be. The world needs to change a little for people like Arthur. It's time.
Experiences working with events like Wings for Autism helps us understand that people have hidden cognitive developmental disabilities, and you can see kind of cues that would allow you to kind of zoom in and say, how can I help you here? We have found this with some of the Wings events because every single Wings for Autism event we have teams from ARC come out and do training sessions to teach us about cognitive developmental disabilities and in particular autism. And we can pick up on those cues. You might see a child having a meltdown in the airport before you've experienced one of these events and you would make an assumption. After you've participated in one of these events, your first thought isn't that child is acting up because the child is tired. You might say there might be something else going on here that I can help with. So that's the transformative thing for Alaska Airlines and our staff. We know there might be something else behind the scenes that we can ask that guest how we can help them with because of these experiences. On behalf of Alaska Airlines, we're excited to be part of the Welcome Inclusion initiative. And we're going to challenge ourselves here at Alaska Airlines to do more. And I would just challenge the business partners and the community members and the organizations out in the greater King County area to be part of this. We're challenging ourselves. I'm challenging you.